this code, this function randomly, and then definition load words from the file named word20k from here is my desktop. And then we're going to open this file and then encoding with UTF-8, which is the Mac program right here. It says UTF-8. And then we're going to read this file and split the words, and then defines valid words. So the valid words includes word, dictionary, use word, previous word. And if the word is not in the dictionary, it's going to return false, and it's going to say this means the word such as cat. It'll say cat, that word is not in the dictionary, try again. Same as this. And here's another thing, it's the length of the word. It's if the length of the words is equals to the length of the previous word, it's also going to return doesn't equals to the previous word, and then it's going to return false and say those two words must be the same length. Um and then if the diff count uh diff count equals to 0, let's set 0 as the initial um number. And then for A and B, let's say just as two words in the zip, which means it's A and B, it's the word and then the previous word. And if A doesn't equals to B, and then the diff count is going to add 1 to this initial number. And if the diff count doesn't equals to 1, let's say it's 0 or it's 2, like I change cat to dog, then it's also going to return false, which means and it's going to say blah blah blah, the word it's must differ by exactly one letter, and otherwise it's going to return true. And then find hint. So for the dic word in dictionary, if the dic word not in use word and the length of the dic word equals to the length of the word, then the diff count equals to 0, right? Um, so for A and B, those two words, like we just said, if A doesn't equals to B, and then the diff count is going to add 1 to the initial, and if this is equals to, if the diff count equals to 1, it's going to return to this word. Otherwise it's going to return to none. And the other function defines, oh, this is the function that defines who wins. So if the current words equals to, okay, so here's a bracket and it says player 1 word. If the current player equals to player 2, which means if I'm player 1 and I already plug in the word, then player 2 it's going to enter the word based on the current word. Yeah. And else it's going to be player 2 words. And then this is going to print current player wins. So if I'm player 2 is the current player, then I'm gonna win. It's gonna print as player 2 wins. The score is blah blah blah. And if the current player is player 1, this is going to print player 1 wins, and then we're going to add 1 to the initial. Otherwise, it's going to return false. This definition, it's the main function. This is all the main function. So we're really going to play the game right now. So definition word, it's the word ladder game. And then dictionary equals to load words. We have this above, and our initial value is all 0. So let's go over this loop. The game is going to say, do you want to play the game? Yes or no? And strip lower means that it's going to remove anything beside Y and N, and it's going to return turn it to lowercase. And if the game If the input doesn't equals to y, then the loop is going to stop and it's going to print goodbye. Um, okay, so player one words. So okay, so if we want to play the word, play the game, player one is going to input a word and it's all going to be lowercase and then um remove all the commas, period, something like that. And then both of us is going to input the word. And here we have a list. We're going to put the word inside and then shuffle it randomly, shuffle these two words randomly. And then we're going to pick um a word from this list as current player and the other one is the next player. And then we're going to print. The current player will go first with the next player's words. So the current word equals to player two word if the current player equals to player one. It means that if player one is the current player, then the current word is going to be player two's word. And then otherwise going to player one's word. And use word. After we input those two words, we're going to put it into um the set, and then this is going to be the used word. Here we also have the hints used. Since no one needs hints yet, so both of the initial number is going to be 0. Okay, so now it's the hints. Um, okay, so here is going to be we're going to be start with the current word, and then we're going to input the current player's word, and then we're all going to turn it to lowercase. And then if the input um is this, and it's we're going to provide the hint. Um, if the hints that the current player used, it's more than 2 or equals to 2, then it's going to print there's no more hints allowed. Otherwise this is just going to give you the hint. And then yeah, and then this is how it's going to print. It's going to say, you could use this word, and then here is going to be the word. Like if I don't know what should I do next, it's gonna say you could use this word, cat. Um, and then a hint is going to turn from 0 to 1. Otherwise, um, oh yeah, and otherwise it's gonna print there are no words haven't already be used. Um, and then it's going to print the next player wins, and then the score, we're going to add it to the initial. So if the current player is player one, then player one doesn't have any other words to use, then player two is going to win. Otherwise, player one is going to add 1. If we input this, and it's going to print the next player wins and then the score. If the current player is player one, then player two wins because player one wants to quit the game. Otherwise, player one is going to win. Um, and then the valid message is going to be anything from here. And if it's not valid, it's going to print message and then continue the game. We can see the message right here. That is not in the dictionary, not haven't have has been used, which is the stuff above we already said. And then all of the used word, oh, and the gas is going to add it into the used word. And the current words equals to it's the gas right now. Um, and then if someone win the game, the loop is going to break. and then um